In the dim flicker of a single bare bulb hanging like a noose from the cracked ceiling of her kitchen, Aisha collapsed to her knees, the eviction notice crumpling in her fist like a defeated heart. The paper's stark black ink blurred through the hot, relentless tears streaming down her face. Words like final notice and immediate possession mocking her from the page. Outside, the autumn rain hammered the tin roof of her sagging shotgun house in the forgotten corner of Memphis, a relentless drumbeat that echoed the pounding in her chest. Her two boys, Jamal and little Marcus, lay asleep in the next room, their innocent breaths the only fragile thread holding her from the abyss. But tonight, that thread snapped. It had all unraveled so fast. Her husband, Terrell, gone 6 months now, vanishing with his new start, and another woman's laughter echoing in his wake. Betrayal that carved deeper than any knife. Then the factory job, the one she'd clawed for after years of scrubbing floors and dodging leers, snatched away in a haze of restructuring that smelled like the same old racism repackaged. "You're a strong black woman, Aisha," her mama used to say, her voice a ghost now, taken by cancer 2 years back. "Strong?" She laughed bitterly through her sobs, the sound raw and jagged, like glass shattering in her throat. What good was strength when it left you hollow, staring at a fridge with nothing but a half loaf of bread and a prayer? The walls closed in, whispering failures, the late-night shifts that stole her from her boys' bedtime stories, the dreams of college deferred for just one more year. The faith in God and goodness eroded to dust. "Why me?" she whispered to the empty room, her body shaking with the weight of it all, a lifetime of carrying everyone else's loads, only to find her own spine cracking under the strain. In that moment, curled on the cold linoleum, Aisha felt the world tilt, her soul fracturing into 1,000 unspoken pleas. She was done pretending, done fighting alone, and in the depths of that shattering, a wild, desperate spark ignited. The Hells Angels clubhouse down on Beale Street, a den of leather-clad outlaws she'd passed 100 times, their Harleys gleaming like forbidden saviors under neon lights. With trembling hands, she clutched her purse, counting out her last $10, 2 crumpled 5s from tips at the diner. "Help me," she breathed, the words a vow to the void. It was madness. It was all she had left. Aisha stumbled out into the rain-slicked night, the $10 bills sodden in her pocket like wilted hopes, her worn sneakers splashing through puddles that mirrored the storm in her eyes. The walk to the Hells Angels clubhouse felt eternal, each step a negotiation with the denial that had armored her for months. "This isn't happening," she told herself, the mantra a fragile shield against the truth clawing at her edges. Terrell will come back. The landlord's bluffing. I'll find another job tomorrow. But the rain soaked through her thin jacket, chilling the lies to her bones, and by the time the clubhouse loomed, a squat brick building pulsing with muffled rock anthems and the scent of motor oil, denial cracked like thunder. She paused at the chain-link fence, heart hammering louder than the bass thumping from within. Leather-jacketed shadows moved behind fogged windows, laughter booming like distant explosions. Who was she to beg these men, these myths of rebellion and danger? A black woman from the wrong side of the tracks, marked by a world that saw her as invisible until it needed her to break. Turned back. "Aisha, you're strong, remember?" But the image of Jamal's wide eyes that morning, asking why the bad paper made Mama cry, propelled her forward. Little Marcus, barely 5, had clung to her leg, his tiny fingers tracing the faded tattoo on her wrist. A rose for her mama, thorns for the pain she'd buried. "Mama, you fix it?" he'd whispered, his trust a knife twisting in her gut. "No, baby. Not tonight. Not alone." Pushing open the heavy door, the din hit her like a wave, cigar smoke curling thick, pool cues cracking, and eyes turning, sharp and assessing. A burly man with a skull tattoo snaking up his neck eyed her from the bar, his gaze softening just a fraction as she approached, voice barely above the roar. I need help," she stammered, pulling out the damp bills, her cheeks burning under the weight of their stares. "Just $10, but my house. They're taking it. My boys." The words tumbled out, jagged and unpolished, spilling the poison she'd swallowed for too long. Terrell's goodbye note left on the pillow, The factory foreman smirked as he handed her the pink slip. No hard feelings, sweetheart. The endless nights rocking Marcus through fevers while Jamal sketched dreams of basketball stardom on napkins. Pain bloomed fresh, a tidal wave crashing over denial's crumbling walls. She sank onto a stool, sobs racking her frame, the room blurring into a haze of vulnerability. The tattooed man, Big Jax, she learned later, didn't laugh or turn away. Instead, he slid a stool beside her, his massive hand hovering before gently patting her shoulder. Calluses rough as sandpaper, but warm, like an unexpected hearth. Sit, sister. Breathe. His voice was gravel, but kind, laced with a weariness that mirrored her own. Around them, the others gathered loosely, not crowding, but present, a circle of unlikely sentinels. One, a wiry vet named Rico with scars etching his arms like war stories, poured her a water, his eyes distant. Seen that look before. Lost my leg in Nam. Came home to nothing. Begged strangers too. His words pierced her, sparking a reluctant warmth amid the ache. A reminder that pain wasn't solitary, that even outlaws carried ghosts. As the night wore on, Aisha's internal storm raged. Asterisk, why trust them? Why me? Always the beggar? Asterisk, but Jax listened, really listened, nodding as she confessed the betrayal's sting. Terrell's whispers of forever dissolving into silence, leaving her to mother alone in a city that chewed up dreams like hers. Faith's a bitch when it flees, Jax rumbled, sharing his own fracture. A daughter lost to the streets, years of riding to outrun the guilt. Their exchange wove threads of connection, small victories in the dark. Her first laugh, brittle but real, at Rico's tale of a botched tattoo that read loyalty instead of loyalty. By closing time, exhaustion pulled at her, but so did a flicker of something unnamed. Jax pocketed her $10 gently. Keep it. We'll ride at dawn. She walked home through the easing rain, pain still a lead weight in her chest, but denial's grip loosening. For the first time in months, sleep came not as escape, but as surrender. In her dreams, Harleys thundered like guardian angels, and her boys smiled without fear. Dawn crept over Memphis like a hesitant promise, painting the sky in bruised purples and golds as Aisha stirred to the insistent buzz of her phone. Jamal's voice, sleepy and urgent. Mama, there's noise outside. Like monsters roaring. Her heart lurched, yesterday's desperation flooding back. But she rose, pulling on her robe, steeling herself for whatever phantom the night had conjured. Peering through the threadbare curtains, her breath caught, a sea of chrome and leather undulating before her house. 100 Harleys, engines idling low like a symphony of restrained thunder, lined the street from curb to curb. Riders in vests emblazoned with wings and skulls dismounted, tools and paint cans in hand, their faces a mosaic of grizzled resolve under the rising sun. Big Jax led them, tipping his head with a grin that crinkled his eyes. Told you we'd ride. Reflection hit her then, slow and seismic, as she stepped onto the porch, the cool air kissing her skin like a benediction. This is real. The pain of the night before lingered, a dull throb, but now it shared space with wonder, a quiet unraveling of the isolation she'd worn like a second skin. Why them? These white outlaws from a world that often viewed her with suspicion. Yet here they were, strangers turned saviors, their presence a defiant rebuttal to her deepest wounds. As the crew swarmed her yard, patching the leaky roof, hauling away rotted siding, even planting hardy azaleas along the walk, Aisha watched from the steps, Marcus on her lap, Jamal's hand in hers. Internal whispers swirled. You've always been the fixer, Aisha, the strong one. But strength isn't silence. It's this, reaching out, letting the world catch you. Interactions unfolded like gentle revelations. Rico knelt by Jamal, showing the boy how to wield a wrench on a loose porch rail, their laughter mingling as sparks flew from a grinder. See, kid? World's full of loose bolts. But you tighten them with friends, they hold. Jamal's eyes, so like Terrell's, lit with a spark Aisha hadn't seen since before the leaving. A small victory, his tentative trust in these cool uncles, mending a fracture in her own heart. Marcus, ever the explorer, toddled to a woman rider named Lena, tough as nails, with a braid like Aisha's and a patch reading Mama Bear. Lena scooped him up, bouncing him on her hip while sanding a windowsill. He reminds me of my boy, she confided later, over lukewarm coffee on the porch. Lost him to the system young. These rides, they keep the empty at bay. Aisha nodded, tears pricking anew, but these were cleansing, born of shared scars. Lena's warmth cracked open a wisdom long dormant. Healing isn't erasing the hurt, it's weaving it into something that doesn't unravel you. As the day deepened, the work transformed the house, and Aisha. Hammers echoed her internal rhythm, each nail a punctuation to reflections on betrayal's echo. Terrell's absence not a theft of her worth, but a space for her to reclaim it. The factory's rejection? A door slammed. Yes, but these hands, calloused, inked, unjudging, proved opportunity's wilder paths. She joined in, her hands steadying a ladder for Jax, their conversation a quiet mentorship. Faith ain't blind trust, he said, sweat beading on his brow. It's betting on the unlikely. Like us, showing up for you. His words landed like roots taking hold, urging personal growth from the soil of pain. By afternoon, the house stood renewed, roof sealed, walls fresh with sky blue paint symbolizing clearer days. The riders gathered for a barbecue in her yard, laughter weaving through the air, strangers becoming kin in the alchemy of kindness. As engines revved in farewell, Aisha stood amid the roar, her boys waving from the porch, her chest expanding with a peace she'd forgotten. Emotional renewal, not as grand erasure, but as quiet acceptance. I am wounded, yes. Betrayed, broken. But I am here, whole in my scars, strong in my asking. The Harleys faded into the horizon, leaving not just a mended home, but a mended heart. Faith in humanity restored, not by perfection, but by the raw grace of showing up. In that moment, Aisha embraced self-acceptance fully, her spirit a resilient bloom pushing through cracked concrete, whispering to the wind, * you are enough. And so is the world that catches you when you fall. Moral of the story. In the quiet forge of our deepest despairs, true healing blooms not from solitary strength, but from the courage to reach beyond our wounds, inviting strangers' hands to steady us, reminding us that inner fortitude is amplified by the unexpected kindness of humanity, turning betrayal's ashes into the unquenchable fire of renewal.